Hi guys, I'm Elle and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking to you about change. So this video was inspired by the song Landslide by Fleetwood Mac. If you don't know, you should know, although I feel like everyone knows. And it just really got me thinking about how catastrophic and huge change can feel. And I think change is like thought of as this big, like monumental thing. So that's just what I want to talk about. So yeah, that's my first point, is that things ending or changing or a new beginning, anything, can feel really catastrophic. Like, I think part of it is to do with time, like things ending, like say moving away from your home, or a relationship ending, or a friendship ending. It's like a very big thing of like looking back on the time that you had with that person, with that place, with that feeling, like whatever it is, and kind of being shown very suddenly how things can change, and they can just, you know, in an instant, things are different. And obviously there is change that is catastrophic, and there is change that is huge and scary, but not all change is huge and scary. So yeah, I think part of it, especially for me, definitely comes from like a passage of time type thing. I am really, really bad at thinking about time passing and like just all of that kind of thing, like existential crisis type stuff really gets to me. So I think for me, when things change, it's very like, I think part of it is a reminder that it's like you don't have a choice in change sometimes, which is also something that I'll get onto. But I also think like the fact that change is one thing, and then that change can have such an impact on like the way you think, the way you feel, the way you live, the way you do things. And I think it's just, like I said, like you're so out of control, like you're not in the driver's seat at all when things change, and it has these sudden like effects and you feel very differently about things. You are just very suddenly like, oh, this is just happening now and I can't do anything about it, which I think, like I say, is part of why it feels so scary. But I think the understanding that you don't have any control over change is almost a good thing as well. Like I say, it definitely makes it more scary. Like, people love to have control over things, people love to know things and love to understand things, and when you can't understand something, or when you can't control something, or when you can't control like even the pace of something, like change, like I said, happens so quick and you just have no time to grasp and like process. So when, like I say, people can't control things, it's very like, oh my god, like ah. But I think that taking that understanding and knowing that you can't control it and turning that into something to help you cope and to help you manage is very good. Being able to look at change and to say, well, this is nothing to do with me, as in I cannot control the outcome of this, I cannot control the fact that this is happening. All I can do is think about the fact that it is happening and think forward rather than right here. Change is a very in the moment, like present thing, and then you want to control it in the moment and presently. And you can't control the change itself, but you can change how you're thinking about you can change how you're thinking about it and how you're feeling about it and how you're approaching it and your mindset and who you're surrounding yourself with. If you're going through a change such as moving away from home, and like the people around you aren't really getting it and they're not really like bothered by it, or you feel like they don't think it's very significant, like as an example, then you can change that environment and you can say, I don't really feel like you guys are very good friends if you aren't seeing how significant this is to me, or something like that, you know. And then that might make the change feel less scary because you have less of the added stress of these people who don't understand what's happening and aren't really trying to see things from your point of view and aren't trying to help you through it. So yeah, understanding that change is inevitable, like I say, it makes it scarier, but it is also a blessing, knowing that things are going to change over and over and over again. And it's like, well, things have already changed 5 times, and what's a sixth? You know, I can do it. I can do change. It's ain't no thing. Obviously it is a thing, but it's like an adaptability thing. Like, you know that last time you adapted, and you know that last time you got to a point where you worked through it and you were okay with the change and it wasn't as scary as you thought, and you can do that same thing again, and you can apply that knowledge to your new situation, even if your new situation is different from the last one. And then kind of going along those lines, change is an opportunity. Change is an opportunity to understand what is around you and who is around you, and how things are happening and how you're living and how you're thinking, and maybe just being able to have like a bit of an evaluation. And things like losing friendships, losing a romantic relationship, it's just like, I very truly think that what is meant for you will never miss you. I really believe that the universe has a way with things, that if a person or a place or a profession or anything is meant for you, somehow it will find you. It might feel like it's taking years, and it might feel like, oh my god, when is this going to happen? When am I going to know what I want, who I want to be with, where I belong, that kind of thing. It can feel so, you can feel so lost, but I just think that things always have a way of working out. And that's what's important, I think, about change, is that a lot of the time change is pushing you towards something new. So the loss of a friendship, the loss of a relationship, if you lose a job, if you move away from home, you're being pushed in a certain direction. And while it's scary to be pushed away from what you know, I think it's scarier to stay in what you know forever and to never feel challenged or scared. Like, I think being scared can be a good thing. Obviously, in some situations it's not, but I think in things like change, fear can be good, because it just means that something different is happening and something new is happening, and it can be exciting and it can be scary. But like I say, I would rather feel fear in order to find out where I belong and to have a new experience and to be challenged and to experience something new, rather than feel comfortable and just be thinking, but what if this? What if there's somewhere else I belong? What if there's other friends I could have? What if there's another community for me out there with people who will understand me? Speaking of, you can start over and you can do things differently as many times as you want. Like I say, the right thing will not pass you by. It might pass you by and then come around in circles and then come back to you in 5 years. But whatever it is, it will land in your lap eventually. You have to do the work to get there, and you have to, like I say, do the pushing yourself and do the challenging. But it will all work itself out. And you can do things differently as many times as you like in order to find the right thing and to have the right thing land in your lap. Just because, you know, like, I know people my age who have like been with people or been friends with people or lived in a certain place for like so many years, and I feel like it's a very common thing to think like, but if I do something differently now, then I've wasted all of this time. No, you haven't. Like, everyone has so much ahead of them and so much that they're just not aware of, and change, like I say, pushes you into that like that opportunity to explore and to understand and to see what's out there and to see what's meant for you and what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And you can do that as many times as you need to until you find those things. You don't have to stay in one place and wait for like a huge opportunity to land in your lap. You can do so many little things and eke out so many little things that aren't working for you that you can change, or look at a change that's happening that you don't have control over, and you can learn from it and you can go, okay, well, this is happening and this makes me think this way, and so that way of thinking isn't healthy, so moving forward, because this change is happening, I'm going to think like this. Just anything like that. You have so much opportunity. And this is the same thing of, you don't have control over the change, but you have control over what you do with the change. You can learn from endings to make a better beginning and to make a better future and to make a better environment for yourself going forward. Change doesn't have to be scary. It probably always will be, but it doesn't have to be this overwhelming, like catastrophic, like I said, like insane just sense of like fear and like loss of control. Because while everyone is just kind of letting things happen, you know, no one really has control over as much as people think they do. But the things that you do have control over are so important, and they're like precious, and you're the only person who can make the decisions to take the different things that you know are working, aren't working, that you know, that you don't know, that you want to find out, and do something with that. You're the only person who can make that decision, which is another thing that's a little bit scary, because deciding something, you know, you never know if you're doing the right thing. No one will ever know when they're making a decision if it's the right decision. But the universe will not let you miss out. If you make the wrong decision, you'll be able to make the right decision later. And it will never ever be that you make a decision and snap, that's the end of everything and you've ruined your life and blah, 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 blah. Unless it's something really extreme, but that's not what I mean. Things will work out. Things always work out. Change is a part of things working out, because you can't have new things and new opportunities without change. And change just doesn't have to be as scary as you think. You might have built a life somewhere, or built a relationship somewhere, or built you know, like your profession somewhere, but that doesn't have to be all you are, and it doesn't have to be all you belong to. So yeah, this is a kind of a shorter video than usual. I didn't have a lot really to expand on. I think everything relating to that is kind of what it is, but I still think it's important to talk about. So yeah, don't be afraid of change. It's fine. You're fine. You will be okay. Thank you so much for being here. I hope to see you again. You are amazing and you deserve everything you have and more. Mwah. Goodbye.